I'm working on a 2006 Chevy Cobalt. I've been chasing an issue. I've got an erratic idle, but the engine runs perfectly smooth above idle. And I've gotten a couple codes, p0068 and p0106, which both have to do with map sensor, possible map MAF sensor issues. And I'll also get a random misfire code in there. So I'll go ahead and crank up the car so you can hear what it sounds like here in a second. Before I got it, somebody had replaced the ignition coil with a cheap unit. There's no brand name on it. A new mass airflow sensor, which is a Hitachi, so it should be OEM grade, as well as a new map sensor, which I think was national brand. I'm not exactly sure. We'll go ahead and crank it up so you can hear it. So it starts right up, and anything above 1,000 RPMs or so, the car runs great. But at idle, it'll stumble around really bad, and sometimes it'll die. So when it's cold and you first crank it up, the thing runs great until it idles down because it's warm. So right now it's stumbling pretty bad. We'll rev it up here. Nice and smooth. So anything above 1,000 RPMs, the car runs great. And I can just hold it steady there. Nice crisp response, and this thing has a ton of power on the road. Definitely no issues with power, anything above 1,000 RPM. So let's go ahead and scan it real quick and see what codes we're getting. I went ahead and replaced the map sensor. Yep, we still have p0106, which should be a map sensor range code. Yeah, there we go. Out of range or performance, which means it's reading below or above what it is supposed to. So I don't know exactly what's going on with it. I did go ahead and do a pinout test to test the wiring harness, and everything looked fine. The 3 wires on the map and the ECU plug, it's the big 72 pin plug, and everything looked great. The 5-volt reference and the high and low wires, I didn't have any issues. So I went for a drive, and everything was feeling good. So I said, you know what, let me do a wide open throttle pull. Did a pull all the way up to 6,500 RPMs. It was just fine. Drove around for another 5 minutes, decided to do it again. And then the second time I did that, went around to 6,500 and shifted, then it went into limp mode. And that's when I got the p0068 code. But before that, I had no codes. So yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a weird one. I'm a little stumped. The only other thing that I've done, which I can't say is related or not, is I did replace the timing chain tensioner because it was making all kinds of noise. So, and the car did run better before I did this. I didn't have any of these issues. So I only drove the car once before that, though. I drove it home from where I bought it. I didn't have any issues besides the map sensor code and random misfire. So I don't know if it's possible that maybe I moved the timing chain off a tooth on one of the cams. I don't even know if that's possible because the car shouldn't run. Here's what the car sounds like from outside. I haven't done a pinout test or a wire trace test on the MAF sensor. Let's see if it changes if I unplug it. Okay, yeah, it definitely seemed to affect it. Now we have like a dead misfire. Let's see if we can give it some throttle and get it out of this misfire. Yeah, it seems a little sluggish, and maybe that's what put it into limp mode earlier. So maybe I've got some kind of wiring issue, and like an intermittent wiring issue in the wiring harness, possibly. Man, I really don't know. So obviously running like crap right now. Let's reset the codes, see what we get. It's not even worth really scanning them. I know we're gonna have all kinds of mass airflow sensor codes. So I bet it'll run great this time though. Huh, now we've got a really heavy stutter. probably have to do an actual computer reset. So I have done this in the past and got this same result. And then I did something interesting, which was I decided to just start pulling the injector plugs off, because this seems like a hard misfire. If I pull off number 4, if I remember, nothing happened. It ran the same, which was really weird to me. See, look at that. Car runs exactly the same. I know I'm like kind of going all over the place with this video. I'm just trying to throw in all the stuff that I've done and tested kind of in one video here to kind of dump all the information out there. But obviously I've got a hard miss, and if I disconnect the battery and you know, wait 10 minutes and do all that stuff, then that misfire goes away and everything is fine again until I trip that p0068 code with the MAF, disconnecting that. So I don't know, this is where I'm at with this little thing. If you have any input, I would definitely love to hear it. Okay, I just did a hard reset by disconnecting the battery terminals and touching them together. So let's see if that hard misfire is gone or if it's back. Yeah, it's gone. So whatever puts it into that limp mode, which seems to be the mass airflow sensor code, p0068, whatever puts it into that mode is what gives it that really heavy misfire. Right now it seems to rev great. It's not doing that chugging and all that kind of mess.